Gail Jensen, and I am your instructor for COM 1020 Online. I thought I would make a short video to welcome you to the class and to give you an overview of what we have in store for the next 8 weeks. So let's have a look at our Moodle. All right, so when you open up your Moodle, you should be greeted by this. And COM 1020 Online, some of the key things to know are there's a mix of discussion assignments, which need to be started usually by the Wednesday. Due dates tend to be midnight on Sundays. And it's 2 larger projects. One is a presentation and one is a report. I've spread them out, so hopefully you've got a little bit more time within there. So this announcement section, chances are, if I have something I need to address to the whole class, I will just send you an email. And this is the Olds College course competency. This is what provides direction for instructors on what it is they need to teach you. And this is where I'm going to put this video when I get that finished. I have started adding in a Google Meet for those that have questions for the upcoming assignments. And I've got it at this point, hopefully this time works best for most, for Tuesday evenings, 7 to 7:30. And I'll be online anyway, so you can just pop in, say hi, ask your question, whatever it is you need to do. You can also email me at any time. And it's not a structured class time because the whole class is asynchronous, other than deadlines. And because our calendar is so compressed, those deadlines are really critical because I can't give extensions. At least not typically, and definitely not on the final one. Okay, so if you're new to Moodle, when you see this little arrow thing, that's will open up to give you the rest of the things that apply to what this banner is talking about. So I strongly suggest you have a look at all this stuff to begin with. And this course overview, like the due dates, the key pieces to know about COM, it's kind of what we're doing right now. It's all about why you need to take COM 1020 online class. And we have 2 quizzes, 3 discussion assignments. Like I said, those need to be started on the Wednesday because there's back and forth. And then it closes on the Sunday night. So that's something. And we have one starting this week. So hopefully you can get after that right quick and have a good look. And there's 1 email assignment. There's a bad news business letter assignment, and like I said, the 2 larger projects. Most times, the biggest challenge I find that students have with it, or that students have told me that they have, is structuring their own time. They're not used to necessarily structuring their own time. I found what works for me when I've taken online classes is I make it as if it's an appointment on Sunday night or Saturday night or whenever to look at what's coming up in the week ahead. That way I can let it start to percolate in the back of my brain and I can structure my time better. And I don't end up being rushed at that last minute. Opening it on a Sunday because it's due Sunday, you're not being fair to yourself. It's a lot harder to think on the fly like that. But it's up to you. But that's just something that works for me. There is no textbook. It's all going to be in here. All the resources you need are in here. When you're in the discussion assignments, it's a great idea to include anecdotal evidence, stories that you know of or have heard of that relate to the topic, or you can pull in extra information from outside and just put a link at the bottom of that. That would be great. This is more stuff about the discussion forums. That's our discussion topics. Graded work, contacting me. Yeah, all that good stuff. So that's all the key pieces. This is really handy for those that like to print off their due dates and put it in their calendar, or it's just helpful. So it shows how the marks are broken down, and it shows the due dates for everything. If you're ever wondering what your current mark is, you can use those percentages, and because that's how it will be weighted. Use the marks that you have achieved. Let's see, online discussion forum tips. I put that in there because we have 3 of those. So it might be handy. This is about Old College student support and policies. If you're looking for some additional support at the college or any other information you might like to have, then by all means, pop into here. And I'm just going to see, yeah, I can move it. When you're looking at this screen, when you see this blue tab over here, that'll give you more information, because when it says that it's a book, it's got other sections within there, and you can just click on these things to find those pieces. Now, let's see if I can get myself back to where I want to be. Oh, these breadcrumbs up here are very handy, because then it'll take you back to where you wanted to be originally, like that. I don't typically use this side panel much, so I just tend to block it off. What else do you need to know? Let's have a gander. When you got enrolled, you also got notifications set up. If you want to change how you get notified with your emails for conversations or activities in Moodle, that little video will help you with that. Academic integrity is if you use somebody else's idea, cite it, give them credit for it. Otherwise, it's plagiarism, and that's terrible. We will be talking much more about that. When you want to close this so that you don't have reams and reams of scrolling, that little arrow is very handy again. Grammar and conventions quiz is the only piece that is open for the entire time. And I have it there just so that you can do it whenever you feel like you've got a moment for it. And usually by the end of the course, I will send out a message, or as part of a message, to remind people in case they've forgotten about it. This little spot I've tested all the links. They worked for me today. So if they don't work for you for some reason, because they break, then let me know and I'll see if I can find an alternate, or maybe I can fix it. But it just, the short little things on how to do all of those grammar pieces. Okay, so then we get into week 1, and you'll notice I've got everything these banners broken down to by the week, what has to be done that week, and the due date. So that would be the Sunday night. So for this week, because we're starting right out of the gate with our condensed calendar, please introduce yourself. It's summertime. Not everybody's in the same classroom, and not everybody knows each other yet. And our first marked assignment will be this fake news discussion. You need 1 discussion post and 2 responses to other people's posts. Ideally, your initial post is by Wednesday. And I will always give a rubric. This is how you will be marked. So whenever you're wondering, do I have enough of this, or is she looking for more of whatever? I am looking for 5s. So if you have a look at those and you can go, yeah, I've got those pieces, then you're good. No problem. And there's always going to be things to read or to watch. These are your resources instead of having a textbook. Most of these are videos, and they're quite often TED Talks. And I'll just pop one up. And yeah, you watch them. And it's a good idea to refer to them in your discussion when you're supporting your argument, because that's really what the discussion pieces are all about. Stating an opinion or making an observation about something, but supporting it. Everybody's got opinions. How you support it is what gives your opinion and your discussion strength. And you just click on that to type it on in, or you could type it in a separate document, copy and paste it. I find that works best for me. Let's close that one up. So week 2 is a library skills quiz. In this one, you will find a video on how to access the resource that I'm asking you to use. It will all be on the Old College website. But until you watch the video, sometimes some of those spots are a little bit more difficult to find if you haven't already been a student at the college for a while. And that's just a policy that we need to have. And this is the quiz. It is like an open book. I would strongly recommend you have the quiz open in one panel and the resource there in the other, that you followed the video to get to, and then use that information. It's straight across. I'm trying to find, the goal is, I'm trying to find if you've been able to use the Old College website, you can find the information and you can accurately answer the questions. So that's that. Most people, it takes about an hour if they've got the two screens going. You'll notice I've got 3 and 4 together. 3 and 4 are together because we have a discussion piece that's due on the 23rd, but the recommendation report, one of those big projects, is due on the 30th. And I find by putting those two in the same 2-week banner, then it starts people to think more about that recommendation report that's coming up, and it's not a surprise. And because those things always take people, and myself included, longer to do than I ever think it's going to. So you've got your social media discussion and you need to choose your topic for your recommendation report. Start making a plan, gather your resources. What are you going, because then the second week you can start putting that all together. If you have any questions about your topic, pop on to the meet on the Tuesday night, or you could send me an email. Let me know what you're thinking and I'll give you feedback. Conflict resolution discussion. After having recommendation report, big project, we have a discussion, not so bad. Week 6, we have these two put together, the effective emails and the bad news business letter. Now the bad news business letter is just due by the Sunday night. The emails, please try and start that conversation with me Wednesday or Thursday, because I have to do everybody's at the same time. And you'll send me one, I'll send it back, I'll respond to it, and you respond back to me in that same email thread. And then I'll be able to give you your grade on that and answer anything else that came up in the discussion. We have instructions, some resources for how to, because business emails, it's not like texting. And a bit of slideshow, a checklist. It's a good idea to have a look. Do you have all these things that you're supposed to have? And it helps target your writing, gives it more of that professional flair that you're going to be looking for. And of course, the rubric, so that you know how I'm going to assess it. Do not, do not send anything into this spot. This thing is just here so that the grade book in Moodle will recognize this as an assignment, and it gives me a place to put the marks. This assignment will just be an email between you and I. Bad news business letter. I think that explains itself rather well. You've got some formatting information, and you've got some possibilities on, yeah, you can use direct or indirect structure. So there's things to do with what the business letters are about, the explanation of the features and helpful tips. That's for your structure piece, more about writing it. We use block formatting in the business letter. Whenever possible, I include student examples from previous students of well-done pieces of work. And Jaden has given me permission for this one, so thanks to him for sharing that with you. You have your instructions. And in this one, there are 3 different scenarios. You can use any one of those. If you would like to make a different one, send me an email ahead of time so we can discuss it. I want to make sure it's got enough meat for you to be able to be successful in the project. What else? I think that's most of that there. And the last week for you is this week 7 plus, because really it's 2 calendar weeks. It's just that we have to have the presentation due on the Friday. So instead of the Sunday night deadline, it's a Friday night deadline, so that I can get everything submitted to the college for my deadlines. And we'll be talking much more about this. A lot of the email conversations for the email exchange assignment are quite often about this presentation, because people often have questions. So it's a good thing. Anyway, so that in the nutshell is our COM 1030 online, or 1020, my apologies. COM 1020 online, and you can hop into this evening drop-in. I live on Vancouver Island, so for me, this is 6 to 6:30. If I, for some reason, cannot make it for whatever day, I will definitely send an email out ahead of time. But I try to make sure I have my butt in the chair at that time. And so this particular Tuesday, though, I will be in Alberta, but I'll be at a hotel. So I'll still be able to see you if you wanted to pop in and say hello tomorrow evening. Yep. I'm going to stop sharing. And so, yeah, there you have it. Welcome to COM 1020 Online.